everyone, this is Kiana, your host of Q for Christ, and I'm coming on here. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone that is tuning in. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. As you know, I am speaking with people that are being successful on purpose by consistently working and doing what God tells them to do, and always making sure they are guided by God. Tonight, I am speaking with someone that is so special. He is the CEO of The Legacy Exists. He is a transformational coach. I am speaking with Joe Frazier Jr. tonight. So I'm so excited. I want you all to make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're liking and sharing the message with someone. That way the message will get in front of others. And make sure you're leaving a comment. I want to know what you all think. I mean, I'm so excited about this journey that God has me on, and I'm so excited to be able to share it with you all so you can figure out what's your passion, so you can write the vision, make it plain, just like Habakkuk 2:2 says. We have to write it and make it plain, and we have to do our part, which is by consistently working. So, all right, I want you to get ready for the message. I want you to make sure you leave your comment and make sure you're sharing. I mean, sharing is caring. That's what they say. All right. I look for you in the comments. Bye. Okay. Hey, everyone. This is Kiana, your host of Q for Christ. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to anyone that has liked, shared, comment, whatever you've done for my page. I am so excited. I do not take it kindly when he chose me to be a vessel, and I am just so excited to be able to spread the word of God, period. But today I have a very, very, very special episode. I have the privilege of being able to talk to someone that has been, just a great impact on my life since, I want to say, the beginning of this year. Today we have Mr. Joe Frazier Jr. coming on here. He is a motivator, messenger. He is a transformational coach. He is, what else? Some of everything. I'm going to let him tell who he is. How you doing today, Mr. Joe?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. Let's talk. Let's impact some lives. I mean, that's what it's all about, All
right. Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself, in case people don't.
So I'm 39. I'm a Sag. I love talking about because I'm Sagittarius. But no, I am a transformational coach. I call myself the motivational messenger because everything I do, I'm just a vessel, message from God.
Right.
I try to stay in His good graces. But I'm also the CEO of the Joe Frazier Scholarship Fund called The Legacy Exists. We're going on year 7. We give back to at-risk youth. And it's everything I try to do is try to impact other people. Impact, influence, leads to income, So
like Pastor D said, I3. You know what I'm saying? I'm so excited. And I want to tell everybody how we did meet. And we were both in the Rock Your World with Your Words boot camp with Pastor Daniels. And shout out to Pastor Daniels. If he ever get a chance to see this, shout out to him, because he has really impacted a lot of people, not just me, but he has impacted a lot of people's life by the online thing. And the thing about it, the enemy tried to use the pandemic as, a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But in actuality, if people are hungry and thirsty for the word of God, it ain't gonna stop you. You know what I'm saying? And so when God put it on my heart, especially when the pandemic started, I'm a internet guru anyway. So hey, that was like, hey, I get to watch everybody and not have to go in person. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? And so I know, and I, I will hope others have been impacted just as much as I have. And to be able to search the YouTube and find Pastor Daniels. Well, I found him, like I said, I saw him on Bishop T.D. Jakes, which I've been watching him for years. And I saw him on there and he impacted me. So that was how me and Mr. Joe Frazier Jr. got a chance to start encountering with each other, being able to see his life and I'm quite sure he looked at some of the stuff I put on there, that it has really, really been like a connection that was made from God himself. You know what I'm saying? And especially with all the thousands of people that was on there. And, for me to meet Joe Frazier, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? I am honored actually to be here. So I just want to get into it and let you know that I am thankful for you being on here.
I'm thankful for you reaching out to me. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all looking to do the same thing, which is impact, influence others. Do it with integrity. Do it with Christ first, putting God first, that we do.
Right.
And it's just like you said, the enemy tries, but God's good, and He's always going to turn everything into our good. Everything is working for us. It's not happening to us; it's happening for us.
Amen.
So we'll go into that. But if you can keep that perspective in life, the enemy can't stop you. See, he needs your help in order to defeat you. He can't do it himself. Otherwise, so he wants to try to delay you, detour you, confuse you, all of that stuff. So he's going to attack. I always say the inner me is the biggest enemy you'll ever have.
Woo, that's good.
I've had that in my life as a kid, knowing who my father is, having some of the expectations put on me by myself, because I really never had that expectation put on by him, my mother, or any of my siblings. It was really just that mental mindset I had that, hey, I have to live up to his standards.
Right.
I can continue his legacy while I create my own at the same time.
Exactly. That is so good, because, knowing who my father was and a lot of the things that he has done, and being that I was in the, music at first, I love music, I'm a singer, and to be like, oh, dang, I got to follow his footsteps. But like you said, we create our own and we go further. You know what I'm saying? Because as parents, I know we want our children to do more than what we are doing. You know what I'm saying? So which leads to my first question. I want to know, just as Joe Frazier Jr., when you were, what in your past just kind of pushed you to be who you are now? And just keep that drive going.
So back from, I would say, freshman year of high school, I started getting into personal development. It was a blessing. My brother on my mother's side introduced me and exposed me to a company called Landmark. I don't know.
Okay.
So they're like the guru of personal development. I call it an open therapy session, because something happened with that, and I'll tell you this, I wasn't ready for it. I can acknowledge that now. I didn't take it all in, but I can remember it, and it's led me to where I am right now. But I remember I was sitting in the event. There was probably about 200 people, 300 people, and there was a speaker at the front, and she said, "Listen, somebody I want you to come up and be real and share their experience to what happened to you, and et cetera, et cetera." So this woman comes up and she's like, "Yeah, back when I was 13, this guy raped me and just ruined my whole life." And she said, "Thank you so much for sharing. Now let's dissect this, right?" And she said, "Well, the fact is that he raped you. That happened. That's right there. That's true. The story you're telling yourself is that he ruined your life."
Right.
And that impacted me. Like, I share that story all the time because it had such a huge impact to say, yeah, there's a difference between what's really happening in life and what you're telling yourself.
Exactly.
And it hit her so hard to say, she literally started, this is when I first, my wife's a Gemini, and they always say Gemini's got two sides. They're kind of crazy and stuff. This is when I first saw somebody really act like that, because she went from crying to hysterically laughing. And the woman said, "Well, tell me what's going on in your mind. Like, what's happening? You've cried and you've laughed." She was like, "I'm crying because I wasted all this time thinking and letting him hold me back from something that didn't ruin my life. And I'm laughing because I feel so free right now to know that I have all the control."
Right. And
So that
that's,
was really
that's
powerful.
good. That is so good because the enemy will tell us stuff and we'll just sit there and think, and all we do be like, you know what? I don't have to deal with that no more. And it's just
Right.
that simple. So wow.
And it's something that, it changed my life. But from there on, I've continued to do personal development, Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, Les Brown. I walked the fire at Tony Robbins events. But it's helped me all throughout my life because the mindset that it helped me develop is that I'm never going to be perfect, nor should we strive to be. Like, we're just progressing. You just got to get a
Right.
little better every
Yeah.
single day.
Right.
But the thing is, it's consistency, because the analogy I use is, if you don't shower every day, you start to stink, right?
Ooh,
If water
that's
doesn't keep
good.
moving, it becomes stagnant, which also starts to stink. It's the same thing with personal development. You're either growing or dying. So it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but you should always be striving every day to get a little better. And the day that you're not, and the day that you're not, you're either pushing forward or you're stepping back.
Right.
So I've
Right.
known that, and I've seen it, because sometimes I haven't been consistent in my early years, and I've seen everything from my income to my personal relationships. They all kind of go down, and
Right.
they pick it back up. And I've always kept God in my life, but there's been times where I haven't been consistent with that, and He's reminded me, listen, I
Exactly.
can give it and take it away at the same time. What you want to do, you
Right.
know? So I
Right.
just a lot of consistency.
That, and you know what? Consistency is key to anything. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Besides, communication and all that stuff, but being consistent is one thing that can drive you and keep you going. Because the thing about it, we have to even show up when you don't feel like showing up. You know what I'm saying? Especially as children of God, it's been days where I'd be like, I don't feel like doing this, like, for real. But when you're called and when you know that you are going to make a difference in someone's life, you know what I'm saying, that you have to be able to be consistent in what you're doing. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And I love that statement, that Pastor Daniel say, that sticky statement that you said, that if you don't shower every day, you start to stink. And a lot of people don't realize that, because it's just something so simple, you know what
Right.
I'm saying, as getting up, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And if you don't, it's gonna go bad. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? If God could give you your voice, or singing, just, I'm a singer, like I say. So let me take singing as an example, that if I don't use it, guess what? God's gonna take it away from me. Like, I'm not gonna, I might be able to sing here and there, but I won't be at my top level that
Right.
God might want me to be at. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so that's so good. That's so good. I love, I'm like I said, I love sticky statements. That just, what I'm saying? Because it's like, ooh, I can say that to somebody.
Right.
Don't be mad if you hear me say that again
Listen, take
somewhere
it.
else.
I ain't trademark it. It's not. Listen, we all get something from somebody. That's what I've
Right,
learned in that space. We're all saying the same thing a different way, and people are going to hear it a different way. But that's
right,
why it's so important to get out there, because you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for other people. And the
exactly,
people, the people Darius D, PD can hit. I might not be able to hit, but I can hit someone else.
exactly,
Eric Thomas can hit. He can't hit, and I can. So we can all thrive together. There's no shortage.
exactly,
Strong.
exactly. And he had said something. I think Pastor Daniel. I think it was Pastor Daniel. I watched so many different pastors, but they were saying throwing, like, if you're trying to throw your message out there, it ain't for everybody. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, can't remember exactly what he said, but you have to when you throw your message, it's gonna hit who it's supposed to hit, pretty
Right.
much.
Your
You
sheep
know
hear
what I'm
your voice.
saying?
That's what they say. Your sheep hear your voice. They know, you're calling first. So don't try to, and I've done it before too, try to hit everybody. Listen, I'm not for everybody. Some people are not gonna like, I love to joke. I love to
Me
just be
too.
myself,
Me
and
too.
some people don't gravitate to that, and that's okay. That doesn't make them good
Hmm.
or bad. But the people who relate to what I'm going through and need to hear my message will hear it, as long as I'm putting it out there.
Exactly. Because like you said, it ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. I was talking to someone yesterday about going through a test, and I was like, the test ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? It's for a testimony. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being tested, but you're also being able to know what to get through to help someone else.
Right.
And and I was telling, I guess because she was saying how someone had gotten upset with God because of what they were going through. And I said, it's like being in school. You can't get mad at the teacher for getting you a test. You know what I'm saying? The teacher just trying to make sure you know what you're doing,
Right. Right.
So that's the exact same way that we have to look at God when we're going through something. He is our teacher. You know what I'm saying? So he is teaching us something. What we need to do is ask God, what do we need to learn from this? And so I can know how to pass that test.
The difference I have to say too, and I try to teach my kids, is like, listen, it's good what they do in school, but in school, they're going to give you the lesson and then you take the test. But God, the way he does it is he gives you the test and he wants you to learn the lesson from it.
Right.
So it's a little different, but it's the same premise. But you have to understand that, because we get a test like, why me, God? Why not you? Jesus had to go through it. But that's my comfort. If Jesus had to go through it, then I know I ain't above anything that's going to happen.
Exactly. Like my mom used to tell her, they talked about Jesus on the cross, honey. What you think you go? Who you think you is? And so that's so amazing. So as growing up, when you went through all of that, the landmark and all that, it helped you as the adult you are now. Now, what steps did it really, really impact you where you can be able to walk the walk you're walking?
So, I mean, taking the education, you always have, like I said, the tests are coming along that line. So even taking the landmark, doing the Eric Thompson, all these different programs, you still have your struggles, you still have your setbacks.
Right.
I haven't, thank God, I haven't had to deal with too many deaths within my family. My father passed, my grandfather, my grandmother, but I haven't had really a situation where, like, I haven't lost my kids or stuff like that. So I'm very blessed, and I can look at situations and say it could always be worse, it could be better, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
And that's what I tell people. It's not going to get any easier. It just, you just get better. That's really what happens all the time. So I've had situations, I was in a bad relationship before my wife, and this is actually this is a really good story of how I met her. We met at the Legacy Exists, which my sister, Joe Frazier, Collins, she founded the Legacy Exists back in 2015. I supported her every single year, went, attended, did whatever I could. My wife, Miss, she's known my sister for years, but we never knew each other. We never connected. So in 2000, I think it was 2019, because that was the pandemic year. I went there. I wasn't going to go. I just got out of a bad relationship, and I usually brought my daughter with me. I didn't take her this time, but I said I have to go because every single year I've supported my sister. I went there late, not knowing that Miss at that same time was supposed to go with her girlfriend as well, who bailed out on her the last minute. She wasn't going to go, but she said she's on the side of the road about to turn, and then she felt a little push of the car. And then she's like, I'm just going to go. So we met at the last minute. That was the very last event, March 5th, 2019, that opened it to the public. Everything else shut down right after that. So we met, we exchanged numbers, we talked over time. Within a year, we had gotten married, we had our kid, we got a new house, and we both had talked to God that night after meeting each other and said, listen, I'm ready to do it your way, God. Just tell me, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And she had gotten a sign. I should let her tell a story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. She had got a sign, a physical sign, because her father was a boxer and she was daddy's little girl.
That's so awesome.
They were so close. So that night she went into her closet and she pulled out a picture. I don't know if I have it back there, but she pulled out a picture of her dad and my dad together smiling. And it was, and that's when she knew. She was like, wow, yes, this is the one for me. So
I'm telling you,
crazy.
I love God. I love stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he will take your pain and give you pleasure. Like they say, he take your ashes and give you beauty. And so I can just imagine the love, you know, and especially that pull that the Holy Spirit just was like, nah, this is it. This is it.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I'm so sold out for God that I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I went through a lot as well, you know, and I took, you know, the pandemic, you know, took me through a whole lot of like sanctification. You know, I had like a whole process. I had to process everything that went through in my relationship. I went through, you know, I was married for 20 years. So it was like you know, like, wow, God, you took, you know, like you took this. And so I had to sit back and realize where God was taking me. So
Right.
I love that. I'm sorry. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to go.
it's real. It's so real. And I tell people, like, listen, you know, a friend of hers had a bad relationship, and she said, listen, I'm never going to love again. She had got divorced. And my wife, I'm telling you, my wife is powerful. You understand? So she told us, she's like, listen, I got a message from God, said, don't give up on love. And literally, as we're driving, because I just took her to the Brian McKnight event the other day, she's like, remember I told
What's
you,
up, man?
huh?
I said, that's what's up.
Yeah, I like that. And he still got it. He almost 80 years old, I think, but he still got it.
I was gonna say about 100.
But she said, you remember I told my friend that, you know, she wasn't gonna she find love. And I said, yeah. She sent me a picture, and her friend shows her a picture of a wedding ring she had just got proposed to, you know. And it's like, he works, but the thing is this, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. You can't do it forward. Steve Jobs said that from Apple. You can't connect them looking, like, you can't, he doesn't tell you the journey. God doesn't tell you the journey.
Exactly.
He tells you where you start and your destination, but he ain't gonna tell you the ups and turns. And
exactly.
It's funny, you look at the story like Joseph, like, man, if he had to go through the pit, the prison, you know, and get thrown in the pit by his brother, he'd be like, listen, I know where you're taking me, God, but I don't know if I want to get there. I think I'm good. I'm gonna stay right here.
Right. I'll stay right here.
Show us that stuff. But if you can just hold on, if you can just say, listen, I know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I do trust that he'll get me there because he already told me he would.
That's so powerful. That is so powerful. That's, you know, one of the things, which actually leads up to my next question. I know that you're a motivational messenger. I want to make sure, because I like that, because a lot of people say I'm a motivational coach and all that, you know, a motivational speaker, but I think motivational messenger is so strong, because you're saying that your message is what's motivating people, and I like that. So as we talk about motivating people, you know, what is the power of a positive mindset to you?
Yeah, the power, I mean, listen, a positive mindset is everything, because it's all perspective. That's what everything is. Just imagine if there's no definition for any word, you really wouldn't know the meaning, right? You have the ability to make up their own meaning. So if pain didn't mean what pain means definition wise, you wouldn't know it, right? And that's why I'll give you an example, practical example. You have someone who's blind, right? And you see it and you're like, oh, I feel so bad, he's blind, but he's been blind since birth. He don't know no different. She don't know no different, you know? Meanwhile, we've had sight this whole time, but we're blind eternally to things going on. So you should feel sorry for us. So it's a whole shift of perspective, but it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't last if you're not working it. Just like you said with your voice.
Exactly.
You lose it. So having a positive mindset, it's not just a matter of affirmations, which are great, you know, saying I am this, I am a king, I am a motivational messenger, I'm a leader, but you have to actually put it into action. And that's what God's going to do. And I know that. See, he's funny. God tells jokes. That's why I know I'm good at telling jokes, because God is a jokester. He doesn't tell you where you're going, and he doesn't show you everything, but he knows that he'll get you there. But at the end of the day, he wants to be able to test your faith. So when you're asking for things, hey, God, I want to be more patient. Help me be more patient. Okay, I'm not going to give you patience. I'm going to put you in a situation.
Right.
You ask for it. So, and then you're like, wait a second, why is this happening to me? And I catch myself doing it all the time. Like, wait, I did just pray to be more patient. Now I got to deal with my 4 daughters. They running around. All right, I got you, God. I hear you. I hear you, God. That's how I talk to him. I'm like, all right, okay.
I do too. I thought I was the only one that I'd be like, okay, God, I hear you, God. Like, Like you got me.
You know, he'll never give you more than you can handle.
Right.
But he does have to condition you. It's just like, again, vocal cords. It's just like working out. You can't go to the gym, throw on 3 plates on each side if you ain't never bench pressed before.
Right.
You got to start. You know, you got to warm up. You got to start light. So he
Right.
knows that. And it's, you know, even when it comes to money, you know, we asked for $1 million, and I said that to my wife the other day. I said, you know what? A lot of people say I want to hit the lottery and all that stuff, but what would you do with it? Like if you had
Right.
$1 million, that's what guys are saying. Like, show me what you can do with the dollar, and then the $100, and then the 1,000. Then I get you to the millions. Well, you just want to jump to the millions, and then most people who hit the lottery, they lose it because they have no idea what to do with it.
Exactly. So if you want to hit the million, like lottery, you better be preparing, because when you get it.
Right. And the disclaimer is this. I want to say this because I think what's more powerful than just getting the message is people have to know that it's okay to slip up. It's okay to take a step back.
Right.
It's okay to have a setback. I think a lot of times we talk to people and they think, well, it's got to be perfect. Like if I'm not doing this every single, you're going to have the days where you slip. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think you're a horrible person because you didn't do it every single day.
Exactly.
Or you had you know, it's okay. That's going to happen.
Right.
But no, get back on that yellow brick road. Get back.
Right.
And keep the path.
Exactly. That's so good, because I a couple weeks ago I put on my page about being prepared. You have to, yes, we ask for showers of blessing, and we know that God is going to bless us, but you have to be prepared for what you're praying for. Period. You know, if you asking God for a husband, you need to be preparing for a wife, to be a wife. If you asking for God, you know, to send you a wife, you want to be preparing to be a good husband. And that means you want to be, you know, lining up your ducks, you know what I'm saying? And not just saying, okay, God, give it to me. And when God give it to you, you know how to handle it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, and I tell my children that all the time. If you want, you know, the good grades, you can't just say, oh, okay, I'm gonna go and take the test without studying. You have to, you know, at least crack open the book.
Right.
You know, and that's how people is in their spiritual life or with God. They think that, okay, yeah, I can go to church. Yeah, that's cute. But if you want to get close to God, you got to spend time with God, period.
Right.
You have to, you know, pray. You know, that's our communication with him. You know, you have to be able to open the book and the Bible and learn about the book. You know what I'm saying? Because just walking around with it, it ain't gonna come to you. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. And it has to be, you know, I did a video the other day, and I'm like, you know, you can't shortchange God. You can't cut him off, and you can't fit God into your schedule. You don't like that. Don't try to fit God in your schedule. Work everything else around God. I'm telling you. You know, so the first thing I do every morning is I have a devotional I listen to. I forget the name of the app, but I listen to that, and I just take 20 minutes of praying and meditation.
Right.
And one day I woke up late and I was rushing. I was like, oh, I gotta cut the short. I was like, no. Nope. Whatever I'm late for, it don't matter. I gotta give him my time. I gotta give him my time.
Exactly.
You know, so we have to keep that with us at all times. Don't try to fit him in. You got to work everything else around, because at the end of the day, he's gonna make you catch up to whatever you were late for anyway, if it's intended to do that.
Period. And that was one of the things, you know, like the routine and the habits, you know, like what we're talking about now, is keeping that routine, you know what I'm saying? Being consistent.
Right.
Back to consistency. You know what I'm saying? Making sure, because I do the same thing, get up, you know, I have my devotion, have my prayer, and then, you know, I have a friend where we kind of like interpret what we done read. So we can, like, we say, okay, yeah, this is what God is telling us in our devotion. So it's a wonderful thing when you spend time with God and you get to know him more. And then your awareness of the Holy Spirit with you is heightened. Yep. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand. If you want God to walk with you, you got to walk with God, period.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And a lot of people, they say, like you said, they want this microwave, you know, I want God in a microwave. I want him to come quick, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, you ain't trying to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so hard as believers now, because this world has made it to the point where everything comes quick, you know. But you have to know that, yes, God is a quick God. He can do it quick. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, but you have to be prepping, you know what I'm saying? Some kind of way, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And you
Yeah.
have to, you know, I look at like, it's funny, I talk about the enemy and then God, and it's like, I think sometimes we make being Christians and just spirituality so difficult. Like we just
Hmm.
put so much emphasis on, you got the enemy. He says, listen, you want to roll with me, all you got to do is kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
That's it. Us
Right.
is like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, this said that, this said that. You know, and PD actually did the Bible U, and I was listening to that. That's awesome, by the way. But
I
you know,
wanted to get in there so bad. Oh my God.
it's
Whew.
dope, and you know, I'm a part of his inner circle, and that's, I mean, if you can get into that, that's super awesome as well. I mean, because
Hmm.
the community, it's, you know, the people
Right.
you surround yourself with can really elevate you or they can bring you down. That's why
Right.
the circle is so strong. But he had brought up tattoos and what that was symbolizing back in the day. He's like, listen, at the end of the day, back then, people were getting the tattoos and everything to symbolize other gods. He's like,
Right.
you know, so that was the sin of it. That's what
Right.
the no. It's not that you can't have tattoos. You know, he didn't have any, but and I was like, okay, I feel good now because I got a tattoo.
Right.
I'm like, I'm feeling a little,
Right.
but and that's what made me follow him. My wife actually knew him because she's from the Hamilton area, which is in New Jersey.
Okay.
We started, and everything is. I can't go into how it came full circle, but it's amazing. And I remember the funny story is I remember sitting here watching him all the time, and I'm like, I like how this dude. I like how he teaches. Like he's not
Right.
rah rah.
Right.
He's not just in the dance and all stuff. He's educating you and making it make sense that's applicable to you, right?
Right.
And I remember sitting here watching one of his things. And I'm like, hey, babe, I'm like, yeah, I really, man, I'm trying to get into this. I wish I just really got to connect with him.
I know that's how I feel. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be honest.
And
Like,
I'm filling out the email forms and all that stuff. She's like, oh yeah, you know, let me text Pastor Shamika and see what. I said, what you mean? She's like,
wow.
oh, we're good friend. I'm like, we're friend. I'm like, you. I'm like, I'm going through all this and you got a number. So she just gets to laughing, but yeah, it's really simple on the enemy side, and I think we just overcomplicate it. I do
Right.
think we should get in the Bible, and I'm getting into the Bible even more because I don't think you can just go to church.
Exactly.
Because you're banking on somebody else relaying the message to you all the time. When God says, no, I'm already in you, you go for
Exactly.
yourself. You go get the
Right.
message I'm giving to you. I'm gonna bring people signs and symbols that I want you to pay attention to, but I also need you to do the work too.
Exactly.
And I'm
Exactly.
so hungry for that, and that's why I continue to do that. But the more and more I read, it's so funny how the Bible can be totally different as far as where you're at in your life when you're 18 to
Hmm.
38. You know, you can
Right.
read the same scripture, read the same passage, the same story, and it means completely different thing, but it makes sense for wherever you're at right now.
Exactly.
You know?
That, and it's so good because like you said, like how Pastor Daniel delivered his message, that it be like for me, it's like a light bulb that come on, like, hey,
Right.
like that just makes so much sense, you know, the way he teaches and everything. And I'm just so intrigued by it. Like that man is just so smart. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
he's a word wizard, boy. He's a
And then like when he was on there, and this one really gave me confidence because I ain't the greatest speller. Okay. I can spell, and I done been to college and all that stuff. But when he said, oh, I can't really spell, when he was on there, he was like, shoot, I don't know how to spell. And I was just like, dang, this man got all these degrees and he could really get on here and be transparent and say he don't know how to spell. That was just like, dang, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because it gives people hope
right,
that, people feel like they have to be a certain way,
right.
and you don't have to. Like, all that stuff is so cliche and so traditionalized. Of course, my family, like I got 13 siblings. Well, I got 14 siblings. Okay.
Mhm.
My dad,
I got 12, so I'm up there.
right. So, but having to live up to other people's standards or your sibling standards and trying to like find your own way, especially me being, my mom had 7 from my dad. and my dad had, well, he had 3 before he married my mom. Well, 5 before he married my mom.
Right.
And then my mom, their mother died, and so she kind of raised all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but we're all close, but mostly all of them are like ministers and pastors and your bishops and all that stuff. So, and I was like, I want to do that, and I want to be the vessel for God, but I want to do it my way. You know what I'm saying? And when Pastor Daniels came and said, yeah, you can make a difference, but make your difference.
Right.
And that just kind of like, when I say it was like a light bulb, because I was like, I am making my difference because I'm using my tool set, my online, I'm using, and it was just amazing how he just, Lord, I'm saying I can go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, it's so true too, because you do try to live up to other people's standards. And I always say, before you try to go out and get success, you got to define what success means to you, because success it's not a one size fits all. It's customized, it's personalized to you. And that's what I do with the transformational coaching, is that, we do the assessment, we do the program to see where you're at. The whole purpose is to connect, close, and clear the gap from where you are to where you want to be.
Right.
And you have to know where you want to be. You have to know you have to be real with where you are.
Exactly.
You have to know where you want to go. The journey in between, like I said, we don't always know that. But if you have that vision and you're clear on who you are, and that's my 3 C's: the clarity, the communication, which leads to the confidence. You got to be clear. You have to know how to communicate what you're looking for, and then you can move forward with the confidence. But it's all in one, and it's like, you don't have to be perfect. Like you said, you don't have to be perfect along the journey. And that's something that I still fight with too. Like, I need people to know that it's that inner me lays dormant in you. That enemy is here. He knows you just as well as God knows you. The only difference is he can't do it by himself. God can do it all. He's omnipresent, right? But the enemy needs your help.
Exactly.
So what he wants to do is tell you, oh, you're not good enough. You're not your father. You can't do that. You're not your brothers and sisters. You ain't no bishop. How you gonna tell people about? So
exactly.
And he knows everybody. I tell my wife, she's very powerful, but at the same time, her heart is so big. She's always giving and giving, and people take that. A taker will take. That's what they do.
Oh, of course.
So if you're gonna keep giving, they're gonna take until they've depleted you, and then they move forward to the next person. Doesn't make them bad. And I say that to say, you don't judge people, but you got to recognize.
Exactly.
Better recognize who you're dealing with. Don't play judgment, but say, hey, I know. Wait, you're taking no judgment, but you're not good for me. I need to go here.
Exactly.
So that enemy knows how to do that. The enemy can't attack me the same way he can attack his wife. Because somebody come at me and say, oh, can I use this? Can I use? Well, didn't I give you this before? Did you ever give me back? Nah, you're gonna have to show me something different. My wife's like, it's okay, it's all right. Now I'm more of the laid back, analytical, take my time on making decisions. But then I also suffer from analysis paralysis. This opportunity. So guys brought my wife into my life, say, hey, I'm just go, 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 go. So get this done. We'll figure out the rest later. And then sometimes I have to step in and say, well, babe, no, hold on. I don't think you should do all that. Don't go yelling. We had a story just the other day. We were at AC for an event, and we were at the dinner. We had where were we at? Hard Rock Cafe, and we had waited 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes to just get a waiter, not to even get our food, but just a waiter. So I go up and I said, listen, I've been here 30 minutes, like nobody's even come to service. What's going on? Oh, I'm so sorry, so sorry. Another 5 minutes later, nobody still comes. So she gets up. That's so I'm like, oh, I already know what's about to go down. Now, when she gets up, she's going to have the manager come over, and we pretty much get a free meal.
She is a real Gemini for real. My dad was like that.
So I said, I tried to save the company money by just going up there and saying, please come help us. But now you made me get the beast on you, and she's so nice, but she also don't mess with her. And coming up in that boxing world, being that only female promoter, she had to be that way.
She had to, yes.
Listen to her, respect her. So she had to be forceful. Sometimes I'm like, well, why you yelling? No, she's like, oh no, I'm just passionate. I just, so it's funny. But
I love that. I do. I'm, I'm all for, you know, women that can handle they stuff. I'm
Yes.
telling you, ain't nothing wrong with that. So,
Right.
but like you said, we have to have well, you were saying that balance, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? You got this side and she got that side. There, look, I'm coming to you nice. But if I let her loose, you
Right.
gonna you finna be paying.
It's a
Y'all
wrap.
gonna
Telling you, it's a wrap. You said balance too. I think balance, I think, is the most, I don't know if I want to say important, but just important word in the English language or any language, because I think you need that in every aspect of your life. Even if you
exactly.
look at my father and all the greats who did legendary things, they gave it their all, but they still needed that time of rest.
Right.
And I get caught up sometimes in hearing people talk about, rest when you die, rest when you sleep.
And I
Well,
hate that jump too.
if that's the case, you're gonna get there a lot faster than you will if you don't
Exactly.
rest. So you got to have that balance, even in your spiritual life. People get too caught up and just doing everything that they think God's, and then they end up going crazy.
Right.
Too much of water will kill you. So
Exactly.
that balance.
That you know what? That's so good because and I was talking to somebody the other day about water. They was like, "Oh, I'm gonna drink so much water." I said, "Okay," because I work in the emergency room, so yeah, you drink too much water if you want to,
Right.
because you're gonna kill out a lot of your nutrition, and then now guess what? It's gonna affect other stuff. So we ain't got to go into all of that, but like you said, balance is very, very important. And it's important in everything that you do. And, people talking about I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead. Oh, okay, you're gonna be sleep quick.
Yeah.
You're gonna be dead quick. I mean, because the thing about it, our body needs rest, just like God rested on the 7th day. So we all have to know that if God can rest and He had, would speak stuff to existence, what you think we're gonna do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I try to tell people, and I know that sometimes at night, the Holy Spirit works with me and try to, and tells me things and stuff like that. But I know at one point I'll be like, you know what, I'm sleeping tonight. Like, okay, Holy Spirit, I'm sleeping tonight. I'll get so excited and be like, oh, I got this going. Oh, and I'm telling you that ever since I started this, the Holy Spirit has just been it. I've been walking with the grace of God, and it's just been so amazing. It's
Yes.
been so amazing to be able to do this. And so I just wanted to ask you, because we were talking about the inner circle.
Mhm.
And the thing about it is God has really, really put people in my inner circle that's
Yes.
going to affect my inner circles. I mean, it's going to affect, have an impact on my life. So
Right.
when you say tips, when you think about tips on having an effective inner circle, what do you think of at that moment?
But you gotta, so obviously people with positive mindset, people who are looking to roll in the same direction you are. It's just like interviewing. I mean, I think a lot of times when we go into any relationship, whether it's business, spiritual relationships, physical relationships, you have to put people through the process. You have to see
Right.
who they are. Active listening. I think so many of us listen with the intent to speak instead of just listening with the intent of digesting what's being said. I had
Exactly.
a conversation the other day, and somebody's like, "Oh, you should have told them." I was like, "No, no, no. I let people show me who they are." I said, "I'm gonna
Hmm.
listen. I don't." And I've been like that since a kid. My mom was telling me, "Yeah, you're the type of boy you just sit there and yes me, yes me, yes, but then go do what you want to do." I'm like, "Yeah, I've always been like that because I'm just listening to what you say. I want to take in, and then I'm gonna make my educated decision on what else."
Exactly.
But when
Exactly.
you're determining your people and who your inner circle is, you have to figure out, are they happy for you when you're doing great things? Like, and it's not, again, to place judgment. You're doing this to recognize who works for you.
Exactly.
And this goes into very first knowing who you are. So I think the first thing you have to do before you get an inner circle is you have to know who you are and how you prefer to do things. And
Right.
that is really what the assessment is about. I know for me, I maximize my potential in the morning times. That's when I'm at my best. I
Right.
know I'm not quick to make decisions, right? I know I prefer structure and processes. That's when I operate at my maximum potential. Now, I need a team. I like doing things with teams. So someone who rolls with me, I do need to have that person who can make faster decisions, like my wife, to balance me out. You know, I'm energetic, I'm sociable, but I also need somebody. I'm not that great so far at networking. My wife
Right.
is great at networking. You know, ever since she's been in my life, she's gotten me in a lot of people. And you need those people who can see you for who you're going to be.
Right.
That's because you can't see it. You're too close to yourself, right?
Right.
You know, and I know I have the name and all that, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. She's like, no, you don't understand how great you are. You know,
Right.
that's that person right there. If you can get a spouse that really supports you, like
Right.
she's aggressive, she's a leader, dominant, but she also knows how to be submissive and supportive.
Right.
So those are the people you want in your inner circle, no matter what the relationship, business relationship, whatever. You have to find people who balance you out, who are supportive, who are with you, and who can just thrive in situations where things might not be going exactly how they need to go.
Exactly. Exactly. And that makes so much sense. You know what I'm saying? Because like my co-host, I tell my co-host all the time, I can think on my head really quick. Like
Right.
I'm one of those. I be like, ooh, let me just and I also write stuff down too. I'm very strategic and about what I do, but my best is when I'm put on the stage
Yes.
quickly and I'm like, okay, I can think really quick. And if you have those people that can balance out, there go that word again, that your life,
Yes.
that what really makes the difference. Like you said, those ones that can see past you. I was listening to a pastor, I think his name Pastor Tim Ross, call him Tim. I don't know if you heard of him. And he's in Dallas, he's in Dallas. But anyways, he was talking about how your spouse is basically you standing outside looking at you. You know what I'm saying? And telling you what you need to do. And it was like, wow, like, when you hear certain stuff like that, it's just kind of like put everything in perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How God placed people in your life that will support you, when you can't see what you're doing. Like, that this is how you've been all these years. I've been, you've been this way for, well, I'm 43, so you've been this way for 43 years. So it's like, well, why you like that? Oh, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how we need is those people that can really, really support us in those times when we can't understand our own selves.
Right. It does start with self, because the hardest thing I think why people don't get into personal development, because it's really indicative of you.
Right.
You have to face so much. Like I can look back and say, hey, listen, okay, this relationship, I think is really on me because I was too focused on the external part. And I'm man enough to say that, like, I didn't look at, there was a lot of signs and symbols God gave me to say, hey, listen, I know you see the outside, but is this real inside? And that person was a reflection of me, just in a female version.
Right.
So when I started to grow and gravitate, see, I would have never been a good fit. And that's why I say to my wife, she's like, oh, I don't know who let you go. I said, well, honey, you getting Joe 2.0. You didn't, I don't know if you're the one at 1.0. So I appreciate it, but I appreciate myself to be able to realize I wouldn't have been a good fit for you back then. And that's why God sent me that gift. He says, I know you want the toy right now, but you ain't ready. You're not ready for that. Grow up, get this, get that, and then I'm gonna give you your perfect destiny. But right now, you got some growing to do. And once you can realize that, people start coming to you. He brings you what you need.
Right.
So that really is the first part. Get your circle, get around the people, because in retrospect, you'll get around some people who are good for you, but then they don't want you around because you're not good for them. So it everything starts with self. If you can work on yourself, God first, I'm telling you, everything will fall in the line.
That's, that's such a good point that you made. Because everybody ain't good for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody, even the ones that you grew up with.
Yep.
The ones that because everybody can't go with you and go where you trying to go. And we be trying to pull everybody in. No, they've been my friend for 30 years. I need them. I need, And God is like, no, they're not good for your purpose. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's the main thing about an inner circle, is somebody that is good for your soul and important for your purpose.
Your
And
purpose.
I love how God places people in our life, especially when like you said, back in the day, if you hadn't met Kiana back in the day, I don't know what you would have got. You know what I'm saying? I went bad. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't feel like I was bad, but I wasn't, in tune with the Holy Spirit like I was. So I was like, oh, I can go to the club, and then I can come to church and be cool. You know what I'm saying? But everything that we go through in our past is necessary for our future.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when you give your life to Christ and you give, your all in all to Him, and say, okay, God, this is me now.
Right.
Like, come on.
And
Like, I'm ready to do this.
You got to get it where it's like, I laugh when I go to church and they give the message and everybody, oh yeah. Now everybody's always thinking about somebody else that they're talking about, right?
Right.
And that person's doing that, and you listen, and you want to show up, but you don't want to do this. And then we're all subliminally thinking about somebody who did something to us. But you gotta understand, sometimes they're talking to you. Sometimes, so you gotta, and when you can acknowledge that, and when you can be man or woman enough to realize that, that's when God said, okay, you're ready to start receiving these gifts. Because I laugh, because everybody's like, oh, amen, Lord, Jesus, yeah. Like, now I'm talking, this message is for you.
I'm talking about you, right? Like, so you got this is straight from the heart to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You gotta just keep that in mind, and tell people, have fun with it, man. It's life is short.
Exactly.
The peace of mind I get is that it's just like when you give somebody something to borrow, they have it so long, you go to get it back from them. They're like, oh, this is mine. Like, no, I gave that 2 years ago. It's mine.
Right.
That's what God's doing for us. My kids are not my kids. They're His kids.
Exactly.
My wife and all that. So I can lose them. He can take them back, and he'd be right for it any day. So that's why you thank Him. That's why I explain to my kids, so they can understand, well, why are you praising God? Why? Because this really is all His.
Exactly.
He can take it anyway. Just like I can take your toys, I can take it because you ain't paid for it. I'm giving it to you out of the kindness of my heart. But don't forget that, and don't be mad if I take it away. But the way He works, not always the way I work, is He's always going to give you double for your trouble. He's always going to give you something better. I'm gonna take it from the kids and say, you ain't getting nothing else. So
right.
That's why I explained to him, listen, I am your earthly father. I love you, but I'm not always going to be here. So I need you to get to know Him, because He will always be here, and He can help you when I'm not here. So that way, if something happens, He's going to be the one to protect you. And they get that. So.
Amen. That's so good. Lord have mercy. That is so good, because a lot of people, and it's so crazy that you said that, because I was talking to, because I was looking at a murder suicide. And like I said, I work in the emergency room, and I was just like, man, I could just imagine being in the emergency room when those bodies came, because it was in Atlanta, and I think the guy, he kidnapped the baby and killed the mom and shot the grandma and then killed himself and the baby. So I was like, oh my God, it was so crazy. And I said, the thing about it, what people need to realize is that we don't own nobody. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad because she want to leave you. You don't own her. Right. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it, God allowed you to be in their lives. So you have to realize, when God take them out, you have to say, okay, God, maybe you're taking them out for a reason. Right. And when people understand that, then we'll have a lot less murder suicide. Oh, you trying to leave me, I'm gonna kill you, you can't be with nobody else. That don't even make sense, right? Like all these people in the world, it's 7 billion people in the world, you can't find nobody else. I just don't understand it.
We all gonna go. We all gonna go one of these days.
We all got, that's a point, like my mom said, that's an appointment that we can't miss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And but this has been good. I'm so thankful that you were on here. I really, 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 really have enjoyed talking to you, Mr. Joe Frazier Jr.
You could drop the Mr. This is Joe Frazier.
Huh? No, just call you Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier's good.
Okay. So, but I want you to talk a little bit more about the scholarship, the
Yes.
page, the legacy exists page. I want people to really, really understand, because I think that this is so good for youth. Where I live at, it is really not much for youth here, and we have a lot of killing, a lot of, especially around the summertime when it get hot and the children want to be outside.
Right.
And we have a lot of the young people. I see more and more young people, even working in the emergency room. I see more young people, mental state is going and all that stuff. And when I looked at it and I read what you're doing, I was like, wow, this is so good. So I just want you to talk a little bit more about that, if you don't.
So the legacy exists is the Joe Frazier Scholarship Fund. We've been around since 2015. My sister Weta Frazier Collins is the founder. I'm the CEO. Rodney Frazier is the president. And the whole goal is just to help the at-risk youth. There's so many out there. Our father, Joe Frazier, he loved kids. I mean, he was all about the kids. And this is the way that we can continue his legacy while creating our own. The goal, and I'm the new CEO of it, and my goal coming into it, and I was just talking to my sister today about it, is that I want to help 50,000 kids and raise $50 million.
Right.
It's huge, but that's the mission. I mean,
Right.
it can be done.
It can.
But the whole purpose, and I think to go back what you said with all the killing and everything going on, is because we've lost the vision.
Right.
They've taken God out of pretty much everything. I remember in hotels they used to have the Bibles. I don't even see it.
Exactly.
So, and that's when the enemy filtrates. So we don't have a vision, we don't have a purpose, we don't have a bigger passion. And when you lose the vision, it says you will perish. And you really have to think about that. It's because when you can't see where you're going, or if it's anything else, it's like, well, what's the use? Let me just kill myself or do something crazy.
Exactly.
So our whole thing is, you want to pick up the gloves other than the guns. You just want to, we give away sneakers. We try to do giveaways all the time. We did just give away 30 pair of boxing shoes to fighters for their amateur fights. And we have another one coming up in July 30th. But you can go to the legacyexist.com and donate there. I'm working on making some easier avenues as well, where they can do Cash App, PayPal, all that stuff. But every single dollar matters. I don't care if it's 50 cents, a quarter, whatever you can donate, because it's going back to them, and it's for them to be able to walk boldly and confidently into their future. Give them some hope. I mean, over here in Trenton, which is about an hour away, the crime is heavy. Philly, which is about 45 minutes away, the crime is heavy. So it's a consistent theme, because again, we are not keeping God with us and inside of us. And if he's not inside of us and he's not leading you, it's like you're kind of on your own.
Exactly.
I think we need that guidance, and kids need to see, they need to see positivity. They need to see people who are going to help them. Somebody said today, I was watching, they said, you can heal hate with hope and happiness. When somebody's being negative to you, you don't have to be negative to them. Just show them a smile, show them positivity, show them hope and happiness, so they can see, well, listen, I was being kind of ignorant, rude to this person. He showed me love still. Wow, they're still out there. It still happens. So that's all that really needs to be powered. But that is our whole goal, is to help the youth, because it's a lot easier to mold a brain early than to try to retrain somebody later on. You know what I mean? So
it is.
And I know we'll accomplish that. 50,000 kids, $50 million. We will get to that when, I don't know, but I know God has it in our future to do that.
Oh yes. And the thing about it, when we tell God what we want, my mom say, I'm his favorite. She always say I'm his favorite, and God don't want me to want for nothing. That's her main thing. God don't want. So when we put it out there, God is like, I got you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so excited, because I know that God is gonna do it. I am. I'm behind you 100%. If you put something on your page, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna make sure I get it out there, because like you said, is, if we can incorporate God into things, into more things, even into the sports, rent arena or whatever, then God will he'll make it good for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have to sit around. God like sports too, I believe. You know, I just believe that. You know, I love boxing, you know what I'm saying? And I love, you know, basketball and football and all that stuff. And I really feel like God is allowing those things, but he want more of him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, just like with this whole you know, my whole page and everything, about 12 years ago, I lived in California, and I started like a women's well, we were doing lunch every other week. I was the cheer coordinator in the city, and I started it and I just let it go. And when I picked it back up, when God brought it back to me, when I started going through my sanctification process, he said, put me first.
Right.
And I said, wow, okay. And it just made so much sense. He said, center it around me and watch it go. And I said, okay. And so ever since then, I started August 27th, and ever since then, it's just, you know, like I said, I'm walking with the grace of God, and I'm not worried about who get the message, because the message is going to get to whoever it need to get to, you know. And so I am praying with you as well that it reach those 50,000 children at $50 million, because the thing about it, we don't want to limit nothing on what God can do. You know what I'm saying? You know, he can do exceedingly abundantly above all what we can think or imagine. So I am so excited for you. I am so excited for your wife. I am going to get her on this page. Yes. So tell her, I hope she listening, and go ahead on and get herself together, because she's going to be out here. And so I want you to let everyone know how you can be reached.
Yes.
You know, let everybody know your media pages, your social media pages, and everything.
Yeah, you can go to joefrazierjr.com is my website. You can sign up for a free consultation if you want to do a one-on-one with me. All my social media handles are Smoking Joe Jr., except for TikTok. That's Joe Frazier Jr. Heavy on TikTok. Like I said, I love the joke, bring my family in. I had to force them to do TikToks at first, but now they critiquing me and they're like, Dad, you got to get back up on your TikTok game. So, but no, it's just, I try to interject who I am, our slogan as a family. So our 4 daughters are Sage, Faith, Destiny, and Victory. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, the motto I have is that all you need in life is sage wisdom, faith to lead you to a beautiful destiny where God will give you the victory. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. You know what? I'm one of those people that like I said, I love sticky statements. You know, a lot of people don't understand the Q for Christ. I am the Q for Christ, and I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about it. I'm waiting for Christ's return, right? But the acronym is I'm quickened in Christ, I'm united in Christ, I'm educated in Christ, I'm understanding in Christ, and I'm excited and determined for Christ. So that's what it means and it stands for. And so when you can have something that stands, like how you got your children name, that just, I get chill bumps. So I'm one of those.
So, keep God, like you said, keep God first, put him first. Let everything else will fall into play. And you know, whoever's listening to this, you got to understand the way God works is you give him the glory, he'll give you the victory. But understand, he likes to do it big. You know, he likes to do it big. So if you are down and out, if you feel like you got no more left, you should rejoice, because you know God's going to use you as an example to show what he can do. It doesn't matter if you're up high, you give him the praise, keep, you know, because you want to stay there. But he really loves working with you when you're down and out, because then when you come up and you give him the glory, somebody else is looking at you like, oh, you was down. Let me go talk to God real quick.
Right.
You know that moving forward, wherever you're at, he's going to take you to a new heights. And that's
right. Exactly. That is, he is one, he want to take that one and just be like, you know what? Because he want everybody to say, well, Dawn, if she can do it, or he can do it, you know, what must I do to be saved? You know what I'm saying? So I could be there too. So, all right. I'm so thankful. I want to say thank you to everyone that has watched, listened. Please go and share this with someone. This is a message that really, really needs to get out there. We want to make sure that we help Joe Frazier get that goal, because we're going to make sure that we're going to get that goal too. And if you looking for a Bible-based church, or you want to be able to give your life to Christ, just, all you have to do is give your life to Christ and find a good Bible-based church, someone that is really, really teaching the Bible, because you want to make sure you're learning and you're thriving. Yeah. All right. I thank you again for being on here. I look to see you later. Yes. And everyone out there in the queue for Christ, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. All right. Bye, y'all.